Hello, my angels. Granny again. I hope you're looking forward to another story. Hope you had a wonderful day today. Here we go. I bet you can guess who this is. This is Snow White. Long ago in a faraway kingdom there lived a lovely young princess named Snow White. Her stepmother, the queen, was cruel and vain. She hated anyone whose beauty was more than hers, and she watched her stepdaughter with angry, jealous eyes. There's the queen there. She looks cross, huh? Doesn't she look cross? She doesn't even look beautiful to me. The queen had magic powers, and she owned a wondrous mirror that spoke. So every day she stood before it and she asked, "Magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all?" And every day the mirror answered, "You are fairest of all, O Queen, the fairest our eyes have ever seen." Fairest, that means prettiest. As time passed, Snow White grew more and more beautiful, and the Queen grew more and more envious. So she forced the princess to dress in rags and to work in the kitchen from morning till night, from dawn to dusk. Despite all her hard work, Snow White stayed sweet and gentle and cheerful. Day after day she washed and swept and scrubbed, and day after day she dreamed of a handsome prince who would come and carry her off to his castle. One day, when the queen spoke to her mirror, it replied with the words she had been dreading. "Fair is thy beauty, Majesty, but hold, a lovely maid I see, one who is more fair than thee. Lips red as a rose, hair black as ebony, skin white as snow." "Snow White!" shrieked the angry queen. "She must be destroyed." The queen sent for her huntsman. "Take Snow White deep into the forest," she said, "and there, my faithful one, you must kill her." The unhappy man begged the queen to be merciful, but she would not be persuaded. "Remember my magic powers," she warned. "Obey me, or you and your family will suffer." The next day, Snow White, never suspecting that she was in danger, went off with the huntsman. When they were deep in the woods, the huntsman drew his knife. Then suddenly he fell to his knees. "I can't kill you," he sobbed. "Forgive me, sweet princess. It was the queen who ordered this wicked deed." "The queen?" gasped Snow White. "She's mad with jealousy," said the huntsman. "She'll stop at nothing to destroy you. Quick, run away and don't come back. I'll lie to the queen. Now go, run, save yourself." Frightened, Snow White fled through the woods. Tangled branches tore at her clothes, and sharp twigs scratched her arms and legs. Strange eyes stared from the shadows. Danger lurked everywhere. Snow White ran on and on. Shame, how frightening that must be. At last, Snow White fell wearily to the ground, and she began to weep. The gentle animals of the forest gathered round and tried to comfort her. Chirping and chattering, they led her to a tiny cottage. "Oh," said Snow White, "how sweet! It's just like a doll's house." Can you see it there at the back? But inside, the little tables and chairs were covered with dust, and the sink was filled with dirty dishes. "My," said Snow White, "perhaps the children who live here are orphans, and they need someone to take care of them. Let's tidy everything up. Maybe they'll let me stay and keep house for them." The animals all helped, and soon the place was spick and span. Meanwhile, the 7 dwarfs who lived in the cottage were starting home from the mine where they worked. On their way they sang, hey ho, it's home from work we go. The dwarfs were amazed to find their house so clean and neat. They were even more amazed when they tiptoed upstairs and saw Snow White. A sleeping girl, a sleeping girl, said the dwarf, whose name was Doc. She's pretty, said the one named Sneezy. But beautiful, sighed Bashful. Bah, said Grumpy, she's going to be trouble. Mark my words. That's why they call him Grumpy, I guess. Snow White woke up with a start, with a fright. Why, you're not children, she said when she saw the dwarfs. You're little men. The dwarfs gathered around her. I read your names on the bed, said Snow White. Let me guess who you are. You must be Doc, and you must be Bashful. Then there's Sneezy and Sleepy and Happy and Dopey, and you must be Grumpy. When Snow White told the dwarfs of the queen's plan to kill her, they decided she should stay with them. We're asking for trouble, huffed Grumpy. But we can't let her be caught by that wicked queen, said Doc. The others all agreed. That night, after supper, they all sang and danced and made merry music. Bashful played the concertina. You see him there? That's the concertina. And Happy played the drums. There's the drums, that's Happy. And Sleepy tooted the horn. Grumpy played the organ. There's a grumpy face. And Dopey didn't know how to sing or play a tune, but he was very good at wiggling his ears. Snow White loved her new friends, and she felt safe at last. But the queen had learned from her mirror, her talking mirror, that Snow White was still alive. This time, she hissed, I'll finish her. And with a magic spell, she turned herself into an old peddler woman. She filled a basket with apples. A peddler woman is someone who sells things. She filled a basket with apples, putting a poison apple right on top. One bite, she cackled, ha ha ha, and Snow White will sleep forever. Then I will be the fairest in the land. Next morning, before they left for the mine to go to work, the dwarfs warned Snow White to be on her guard. Beware of strangers, said Doc. Right, said Grumpy. Don't let nobody or nothing in the house. Oh, Grumpy, said Snow White, you do care, after all. I'll be careful, I promise. And she kissed him and the others goodbye, and the dwarfs went cheerfully off to work. A few minutes later, the queen came to the kitchen window. Baking pies, dearie, she asked. It's apple pies the men love. Here, taste one of these. And she held a poisoned apple out to Snow White. Snow White remembered the dwarf's warning. But what harm can a poor old woman do, she thought, and that apple does look delicious. She bit the poisoned apple. Then with a sigh, she fell to the floor. Told by the birds and animals that something was wrong, the dwarfs raced back to the cottage. They saw the queen sneaking off, and they ran after her. As storm clouds gathered and rain began to fall, the dwarfs chased the queen up a high rocky mountain. Up they went to the very top. Crack! There was a flash of lightning, and the evil queen fell to her doom below. But it was too late for Snow White. She was so beautiful, even in death, that the dwarfs could not bear to part with her. They built her a coffin of glass and gold, and day and night they kept watch over their beloved princess. One day, a handsome prince came riding through the forest. As soon as he saw Snow White, he fell in love with her, and kneeling by her coffin, he kissed her. Snow White sat up, blinked her eyes, and smiled. The prince's kiss had broken the evil spell. As the dwarfs danced with joy, the prince carried Snow White off to his castle, where they lived happily ever after. Isn't that a lovely story? The Snow White got kissed, the same as Sleeping Beauty, by a beautiful prince, a handsome prince. Okay, my darlings, I hope you enjoyed that and that you have a wonderful night, that you have sweet dreams. I love you lots. Bye-bye.